So thank you very much for your responses because I know that regardless of how financially sound any couple might be,
Mhm.
the toll that it takes on finances is huge.
Yes.
I've personally had to, support a few couples on their journeys while still trying to make it happen. Of course, financially and psychologically too, as well. And that's, a pivotal question I want to ask you.
Mhm.
I've heard you say my yeah, your obs and gyne,
Yes.
OGYN. I've
Mhm.
heard you say my IVF doctor.
Mhm.
Of course, I've heard you talk about the support you've gotten from your
Mhm.
husband. Did you ever see anyone who was able to help you with your mental health through that journey?
Who can I point to? Well, let me say that I think we're not open to people knowing what we were really doing at that point in time. I think for the first couple of IVF we did, yeah, we let our parents know about that. But when it failed, the reactions we got, we didn't like it. Not because they were upset with us or they were angry with us, but that, always checking up on us like 5 times in 5 minutes. It was driving everybody, it was driving me crazy. I didn't like it because it was too much. How are you? I it just made me vulnerable and I would just burst into tears. So after the couple of IVF, we agreed that we'll keep it to ourselves. So nobody knew what we were doing. So when it failed, it was just both of us. I didn't have to. But sometimes, yes, I reached out to a couple of friends, very good friends of mine, and yeah, one is in Canada. Her name is Derry. I think she knew most of the issues that I was facing at that point in time, and that was my support.
Mm.
And another person that I know that over time we got to know along this journey was Jumoke. She's also here in the United States with us, and she was also, proud to that to all the IVFs we had, or to some of them. So because we didn't, because I just feel that families they are great, they support you well, but I needed somebody that could say, I don't, it's enough. Don't call me again without sounding rude or harsh. Because my friends, I could tell her, dear, it's fine. I'm fine. Please don't, text me or don't call me for now. I'm fine. But family, they will never back down. As soon as you tell them you don't call me, they're thinking, does she want to kill herself? Does she want? And they keep calling everybody. Have you heard from Bookie? Have you? And so I didn't need that energy, that kind of energy. Yeah, they loved us, they cared about us, but I didn't want them to care for me in that way. They were doing it in the wrong way. And if you tell them that, it's as if I, I just get this feedback that no matter what you guys do, we'll still call you. No matter how you tell us not to call you, we'll still call you. So at that point in time, we just said, you know what, let's take them out of. We don't need to tell them anything, and they never heard anything again from us until we had this boy. So that to me, that was the best decision we had, and we're on the same boat for that because it wasn't as if Shegun refused or he said no, I have to tell my mom, I have to tell my dad. No, we both agree that we're not telling family, and that worked for us, And when we had this boy, and then they started hearing all of that, all of the processes and procedures that we went through. My mother was like, I remember you only told me about one or two. When did he get to nine? I was like, thank God. And even at that time, she was even still crying on the phone, like, how did he get to nine? So you can imagine what would have happened if I was telling her about the twin pregnancies, about no. So yeah, so I think so I got support from from my friends and that doctor that really helped us in Nigeria. Because most times when he comes here, I think we'll speak, even when we don't see him, he calls us, we talk at length. And then there was a time he actually came here, he spent almost 2 weeks with us. So he was always my go to person. In fact, I spoke to him much more than I spoke with my friends because each time I go to my doctor, I'm like, this is what this doctor says. Oh, well, yeah, he's on track. Bukola, yeah, he told me to do this procedure. Yeah, I think you should do it. That's what we do now in Nigeria. He was always, and he's not that kind of person that will say, oh, Again, because he's a medical doctor, so he was telling me what to do. Even when I start crying, sir, why me? He will say, why not you? Should it be somebody else? And aren't you wicked by saying should it be you? Like, why can't it be you? What makes you different from other people? And then that brings me back to reality that okay, it's true. Why do I wish that on somebody else? Why do I project? Why do I think somebody else? Do I think I'm better off? So he tells me, no, deal with it. It's your issue. It's not my issue. Deal with that. And he was always, frank with me when he talks. And then when I'm about to cry, no, 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 you can't do that now. You have to forge ahead. So he was, I think I would say that he is my greatest, or he was, and he's still my greatest supporter till
Thank you.
date. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So if I could add to that, I know the question is about mental health support during these, right? And the mental health support can come from, various sources. It doesn't have to be specific, designated. So one of the greatest support I would say that we had, apart from the doctor, whom we thank God for, that we talked about, very, very lovely man that we've come to accept as our father, because he played that role in our lives. Is another person who is a wife to a senior colleague. We call her Auntie Adiola, and one of the reasons why these seem to be pivotal in our journey is because it almost happened at the period where we were considering. I think we've had enough of all of these, and for some reasons, as fate will have it, I'm not even sure how we decided to talk to her, but she agreed to talk to us and shows her story, about how she traveled literally the world, because I think she mentioned at least 4 or 5 countries that she had been to for IVFs, and she told us how she stopped counting at the point where it got to 20, and that's really, there's something about talking with somebody that walked your shoes, that without taking away from anybody else's respect, that this person had walked my shoes and feels my pains, knows what he's talking about. Honestly speaking, many people try to talk to us, and we appreciated them, and we are grateful for where they're coming from, but it didn't carry the weight of that person that walked our shoes. The attention we gave to the person that walked our shoes was different. Yeah. And this was somebody that had walked our shoes. And honestly speaking, for me, that was one of the biggest mental health influence that I had. That, wow, if you could walk this path and you have these results to show for it, then it's possible for us as well. And honestly speaking, I think it really helped us, yes. And she sent us some beautiful gifts way ahead of even thinking before we ever knew we were going to get pregnant. And honestly, so these are some of the things, or some of the people that I recall that I can say, yes, we got support. We call it mental health support, you call it community support, but it was support for us at that moment. And that's what we're trying to do to other people today here too. That people that we may never have to see face to face, hopefully they can see these videos and be encouraged on their own journey as well.
Thank you so much. In Buki's response, what I got was how you not only try to manage your own emotions, but you carry the weight of the emotions and expectations and hopes and prayers of other people. Again, I think that one thing I want people to pay particular attention to is how that you still did it together. And so you weren't divided against yourself.
Yes.
And so you stood together through it all. And I'm happy that, it ended in a fruitful, journey. We have the baby, we have the book. And like I said, a lot more blessings that we probably can't even count.
Yes.
So I think it's particularly, pertinent for people to know that not only do you carry your own worries, but you carry the worries of others.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's also particularly important that there were people who were able to hold your hands. Sometimes it's easy to just sit at home and say, oh, why don't you do this, why don't you do that, why don't you why don't you do this, but no one is able to walk you through it like someone who has walked the shoes literally, like you said. Their perspective is different. They felt your pain, even though they're not in your bodies and all of that, but they've pretty much gone through what you've gone through. However, I know that in response to this question, because to be honest, a lot of the responses you got from relatives calling you every 5 minutes, calling you every 10 minutes was from a place of care.
Oh yes.
It was from a place of love. But it wasn't that kind of love that you needed at that point in time. And so I know that someone is watching this today and is thinking, how then would you have liked that people showed you support?
Okay.
Because now it's a journey we can look back to and say, well, they were barraging me with calls, but perhaps if they had done this, perhaps if they had done that, and you think that it's what other people also wish that people knew, that this is how I would like to be supported on my journey.
Yes, that's a very great question. And I what I would have preferred at that point in time is, even if I went out of my ways to tell you that I just had a miscarriage, or I just had a failed IVF cycle, and I talk about it, at that time, probably for 5-10 minutes. I do not expect you to call me back in another 10 minutes to ask me how I'm feeling. I think that's too much. I think that's too much. Even the next day, you could just send me a text. I'm praying for you. Because at that point, I want to grieve on my own. I don't want anyone to share that with me, because you can't even share it. I just, probably that's me. Maybe somebody else, I don't think I'm speaking for all the women. Some people might just want people to, call them like 5 times, but I wasn't that kind of person. I just wanted to be on my own. And if at all I needed anyone, I wanted my husband to be there for me. So I didn't want, calls. And if I didn't pick my call, it will never stop ringing. Sometimes I had to switch off my phone because it was getting too much for me. And then when you pick the call, it's the same question. And I've already answered that. I think it was just too much for me. So I would have preferred someone, when if I call you, in fact, if I tell you what I was going through, it wasn't like, it was just for me to let you know. And I wasn't expecting you to now keep calling, like I earlier mentioned. A text will suffice. And sometimes if you call me once, I don't pick, you don't have to keep calling, and just keep praying for me even without you letting me know. I've seen people that when they call me, for the next 15 minutes, they're praying for me, and I didn't like that because I was just tearing up. And, I didn't like that. You just pick the call and it's prayers. They won't even want you to talk, just keep praying for you for 5-10 minutes. And the prayers were not working. It could, at that point in time, I didn't even need prayers. That's the truth. People think all you need is prayers. Let's just pray. No, I didn't need that. I didn't need that. If you wanted to pray for me, just do that privately, not you calling me and praying. I think I was just too exhausted for all of that. Yeah, I was just too exhausted for all of that. So I think I would have preferred, this calmer way of getting in touch with me, just sending me text messages back. And the truth is, if I see someone that was not too aggressive, believe I open up to such people. That's why I really love my friend Dina. She was never aggressive. She would just tell me, when you need to talk, let me know. And I was like, oh my, this girl just, and I see myself calling her. I'm the one doing all the calling. And she will say, why I didn't call you? Because I didn't want to be too much. And she so much understood how I felt. Even without her reaching out, then I just had a miscarriage. She might not even respond, or she will just say, do you want to talk about it? And I'll tell her no. And then that's it. She will say, I'm here, Buki. The next day I'm praying for you. Do you want to talk about it? She will never push me. And so I think I wanted to be in my own space at that time. I didn't want anyone invading that space. I didn't want anyone, maybe or even my husband was trying his best But sometimes you just want to grieve by yourself, and then later on you can share because you're past that stage. So I would have appreciated that. And then another thing I would have appreciated is people not asking what you're doing at a particular point in time. Have you guys tried this? And I can remember someone asking me, why not try IVF? And I immediately I just told her that don't ask me that question again, except you have $10,000. That's what I told her. I said, do you have $10,000? She said, no. I said, then don't ask me that question again, because for you to have asked me that question, you should have Googled about it to know how much it cost. So yeah, just let's learn to respect people's privacy. I think that's what I would say. Let's learn to respect people's privacy and boundaries. When you see somebody not opening up, don't push the person to don't force the person to open up. Just let the person be. Over time, if the person really wants to open up, yeah, I can assure you, even things that you have never heard from that person, he or she will just pour it out. And then you'll be wondering, oh, okay, this happened, okay. So I think that's what I would have appreciated.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Thank you.
I don't know if I have anything else to add to that, honestly speaking, because I've borne most of the brunt of a lot of things. And I am just happy that I was able to support her in a way that I could. And I learned through, a lot of iterations about how and when and where to approach Bukola when she was
Yeah.
when she was vulnerable. There are times that I just know this is not a good time, but it comes with time. You begin to understand your spouse. That, okay, she's approachable now, because grief is really for real, especially when you just lost. One of those experiences that we narrated in our book. Talking about how watching the single most important thing that you have prayed for in your life. You're watching your body experiencing it and you can't do anything about it. It wasn't just one twin pregnancy. And the inevitability of that this is what I'd wanted my whole life, and my whole married life, to put it more precisely. And watching your body expel that and your inability to do anything about it, the kind of state it puts you mentally, it's indescribable.
Yeah.
You're angry with your body, you're angry with your physiology, you're angry with your anatomy. Why is my body pushing this out? Don't you understand that I need this to stay? You can't do anything about it. That's on the woman that you want to, you know, that you want to approach in a way that is not insightful. You want to be sure that when you're approaching her, that you're doing it with a lot of context, understanding where she's coming from, where she is. So it's a learning curve.
Yeah, it is.
It's a learning curve.
It is.
And hopefully, people can pick up some of the lessons.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I think that a huge part of how people respond, especially in a place like Nigeria, is largely driven by culture, social cultural expectations, and also religious beliefs.
Yes.
People feel like it should be their business. People feel like they should always be able to say something about what they don't even know anything about. And unfortunately, what they don't know is that many times you're tearing down the person. I remember I have this young patient who is dealing with PCOS. And you know how PCOS can be. She's not eating, she's dieting, she's doing it, but the weight keeps.
Yeah.
And she told me about how she had gone to church one day and somebody came to her and like, why are you looking like this? You look like somebody who has, she broke down in church. And I just had to keep managing and supporting her. Sometimes people just need to learn to keep quiet. Sometimes people need to learn to learn how to support you. And I think that the single most important thing I want people to take away from this conversation, or this question rather, would be the fact that sometimes what you can do is just ask that simple question: how would you like that I support you on your journey? Because again, for some people may like flowers, some people may like gifts, some people may like the silence, some people may like people around them, some people may like you to give them money. But I think that it's never really done until you ask an individual, how
Yes.
would you like that I support you? And sometimes, I say to some of my friends who struggle with depression or any other issues, I'm like, if you don't want to talk to me, just say, right now, I don't want to talk to you. For me, it's okay. And then when you do want to talk to me, reach out, and I'll be there to hold your hand.
So that they took like a specimen or something from my uterus, right? And then they tested it and they saw that I had an infection that has been there for a very long time.